What's up, everybody? This is Mr. Second Passport. Today, we're going to cover three ideas that may be for you if you, like me, still have to make money in order to live abroad. There's no pension coming in, there's no disability or whatever, no steady inflow of money, right? But that isn't something that should restrict you from living your dream if moving abroad, like it was for me, is your dream as well. So here are three ideas. I'm sharing them with you because I've already got a few things on my plate, so I probably won't get to it as fast as it should be gotten to. But these aren't meant to be taken verbatim, right? You can kind of take these ideas and kind of maybe twist them around, and kind of tweak them. And maybe you have something in your head, and you can take one of these and kind of tweak it and make it your own. First, a note on what it's not going to be, right? It's not going to be, I'm not going to say, get involved with some app like Uber or DoorDash or something. First of all, apps like DoorDash don't even exist down here, but Uber is down here in the big cities uh, in South America and in Ecuador, where I live. But you make almost absolutely nothing. I did one ride once just to test it out, as a driver, and I think the ride was like $3, 250, and Uber takes like 40% of that. So I mean, and it was like a 15-minute drive, which is typical down here. So like super cheap to use, you know, these apps like Uber and taxis down here in Ecuador, but it's not an option really for most of us North Americans. It's just not worth it. Same goes for teaching English. Let's just scratch that off the table for pretty much all of Latin America, right? I've taught English, but in Asia where it pays a heck of a lot more, right? So if you're heck hell bent on teaching English, maybe you can find something online while living in Latin America, or I suggest Asia, right? China, South Korea, Japan, those countries pay way more than down here, and you will be exploited like you won't believe, long hours, low pay. I don't recommend it. Just cross it off your list if you want to live in Latin America, like where I currently live. So now let me tell you a quick story um, about 10 plus years ago. I was just 23 years old. I was in Colombia, in Medellin. I really loved it, wanted to stay. So I looked around for an internship, and I got one in Pro Export, one of the top organizations that helps small and medium-sized businesses begin and to export in Colombia. And I realized something there that has stuck with me while living and trying to make a living in Latin America, and that the key, I didn't have any experience in anything about marketing. I was giving courses on marketing and internet marketing, and I had no idea because I had no experience in it. I just had studied it. And I had 30 and 40-year-old businessmen in my classes listening to me, and I realized right then and there, the only thing I had going for me was practically being an American, right? In a place like Colombia, where there's not that many, especially in the business world. And, they were listening to me, which is pretty neat. So, I mean, the key that I found was down here, what can you do in order to link, right? In order to link up your previous culture to your new culture. And that's a way you can really provide value and to an industry, to a business, to whatever, or to people in general, and make money down here if that's what you want to do. The first idea would be to start a used furniture store, and sell kind of on consignment. There's just not a lot of that down here. And for instance, a couple months ago when I was in Cleveland, Ohio, entering 2021, January 2021, I was remodeling a house in Cleveland, and then I had to furnish it, and I visited a whole bunch of furniture stores, all empty, except for one that had this cool, interesting, innovative concept. Every time I visited this store, it was full, and people would come and leave their furniture, would have to pass the quality filter of the store in order to enter the store, but then the items would drop by 1% every day that they were in there. off the original asking price until they sold. And it was a pretty neat concept. You're just sitting there. There are these tags with the date, with the original price and the date the item went in, and then you kind of have to do a quick math in your head. Oh, how much is it today then? And it was a really neat concept. I think something like that could go really good. Ecuadorians and Latin Americans in general really love to negotiate and feel like they got a great deal. I think a concept like that, a store like that, might really be good. Plus, there's a lot of expats, for instance, that move down to Ecuador thinking they're going to live here forever, and they furnish the place out, to the nines, really nice. And then 2 or 3 years later, sure enough, like most of them, something happens. They decide to move back or move somewhere else, and they fire sale everything. So this would be a great place to pick stuff up, inventory up, and then you could sell it off in this type of fashion to locals. Idea number two, I'm already doing on a really small scale with a few people I know, but it could be expanded out big time. But this is just to kind of keep your innovation and your creative juices flowing, and maybe you could do something like this, something similar but different, or the same thing on a bigger scale than I am, whatever. But what I discovered, in my time back in Ohio a month and a half ago is that everybody nowadays in the States pays each other through these couple apps, Venmo and Cash App. Everyone has it. Everyone. Maybe under the age of 40, I should say, but pretty much everyone has it. They also have other things like PayPal, which a lot of, even older people have, and Google Pay, Apple Pay, Zelly. There's several of these, and all of these apps pretty much don't work once you're already living in Ecuador, or a foreign country. You can try to download them, but it won't work because you don't have a US number that can verify the service. You need a US account and a US number, and some people don't even have the US account to begin with in order to verify. And if they see your IP address, as foreign, oftentimes they won't even let you download the app in the first place. So what I think you could do, there's a lot of people like me who live abroad but have businesses or rentals or whatever, or people they have to pay constantly back in the States for whatever reason. And you could obviously um, receive money down in your country, your new country, like here in Ecuador, and then you could turn around and pay in the States, to the Venmo username or the Cash App username of so and so person that this person down here in Ecuador has to pay. And you charge a commission on top of that. And you know it can work. For the few people I work with, I charge 10% and they pay it because they have to make that payment. And they don't work with the internet so much, and they just don't know about these other apps. And even if they did, being down here in Ecuador already, they can't even work with them. They can't download them. It's just not going to work. They can't verify themselves. This is a service, being that link I was talking about, that might work on a larger scale. The third business idea for you to kind of keep those creative juices flowing, and that I've seen already, I've been approached by people wanting to sell gold. Ecuador is a big gold producer. It's not as big as next door Peru, which is a top 10 in the world producer of gold, but like I've been approached a lot, by miners and sellers of gold, who wants to unload their gold. They just need liquidity. So down here, you'd be surprised. There's just not the liquidity that you have in a place like the U.S. or Canada, but there's still the gold. So one thing you can do is sometimes, especially buying in bulk, get gold at a little bit of a discount if you provide liquidity to these miner folk. Now, it is a little more this idea is a little more complicated than what you might expect. There are laws and taxes, these miners and people who sell gold have to pay, and you can't get around that or you're going to get in trouble. So if this is something you'd be interested in, like being a gold dealer down here in Ecuador, then I would suggest researching it more before you begin. But picking up gold at reasonable prices is totally possible in a place like Ecuador. Can you do it legally? You should get some legal advice on that, which I am not. So be sure you do that before you begin. But being a gold dealer and providing liquidity for people, especially if you think, like me, that with all this money, that all this paper money that all these governments are printing, especially since the pandemic began, if you think gold has a bright future, no pun intended, then I think this might be an interesting also idea for you. Anyway, these are three ideas for you, business ideas that I think could work well for a lot of expats in Ecuador down here. I'm Mr. Second Passport. Don't forget to hit the like button below and subscribe with the red button in order to keep this channel growing and enjoy more videos just like this. Take care.